Alright everybody, so now that we've finished our first video, it's time to go into how would we apply this? How would we see this in, other than just simply finding that surface area, simply finding the volume, what do they do? Well, here's an example. In this case, they're giving us the surface area, and they would like us to find a certain quantity. So in this case, it's diameter. So always start off with what you know. Our surface area formula is 4 pi r squared. And in this case, they're telling us the answer. So they're saying 4 pi r squared equals 324 pi. So in doing this, it allows us to actually solve for a variable. All of these things are numbers except for r. So we just actually do some algebra. So 4 times pi times r, well, to get r alone, we're going to divide by 4 times pi. So this simplifies to 1. In this case, pi divided by pi also simplifies to 1. So we can just do 324 divided by 4. Take the root of both sides here, and we'll get a radius of 9. Now, in this case, what's the question asking for? It wants diameter. So remember that 2 radiuses together make our diameter, or 2 radiuses, again, equal diameter. So that is our diameter here. So 18 centimeters is the diameter. So that is one example. They might do that with surface area and ask you to find a specific quantity. Basically, the key to these questions, whatever they ask you for, whatever they give you, write down the formula. And if you write down that formula, you'll be in good shape. For the second example, volume. So they're telling us the volume of a sphere is 288 pi, and they would like to know the surface area of a hemisphere. Well, hemi just means half. It's kind of like if you slice a watermelon in two, right down the middle, and you only take half of the watermelon. So the whole sphere is the whole watermelon. In this case, we just want half of it. So another example of Fruit Ninja applying to geometry. Cut the watermelon in half, whatever's left over, that's a hemisphere, half of the thing. So the only thing that makes it a little bit more complicated for us, but again, we'll just take it one step at a time. So volume in this case is 4 over 3 pi r to the third power. They give us this as 288 pi when we fully solve it. So again, we want to get r cubed by itself. So this simplifies to 1. Those pi simplify to 1, so we end up with 288 divided by 4 over 3. So in this case, with fractions and division, we want to do KCF. So we'll leave this as 288 times 3 over 4. So a little bit of fraction division review there from maybe a few years back. Yeah, I think that one got left off there. So 288 times 3 divided by 4 will get us a final answer of 216. So when we are looking through solving that full division problem, we have 216 is now equal to r cubed. So let's bring that back up to the top. The cubed root of 216 is what we're up to next. So punch that into the calculator. Again, not the square root, but the cube root this time, or what times itself 3 times is 216. Well, in this case, we have an answer of 6. So we now have the radius, which will help us. Next, we're going to move on to surface area. So surface area is 4 pi r squared. 4 times pi times that radius squared, which in this case will get us 4 times 36 times pi, which is 144 pi. And that would be the surface area of a whole sphere, or if we coated the entire outside of that watermelon. But in this case, we want half of it. So if we think about it, to get half of it, we would be coating basically everything except for the top of that hemisphere. So to do that, half of it, just divide it by 2. So we'll get 72 pi centimeters squared is the blue area, but we're missing that area on top. So if we've actually cut it in half, now we also need to cover up the middle section. Otherwise, it'll just be out there in the open. So we're going to need our radius, which we have, which is 6. And we just need to find the area of the top. So that's a circle. Pi r squared is what we'll need. So we'll do pi times r squared, or 6 squared, to get us 36. So we're going to add 36 pi to 72 pi, and we'll end up with 108. So that's going to be the final answer for the hemisphere. So we take the surface area, divide it by 2, and then we have to add the area of the circle that is on top.